evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now with me, Heena Gambhir. A day after Sena rebel Eknath Shinde became the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shinde Fadnavis Sarkar has got to work. In its first major decision on development in Mumbai, most controversial metro car shed project in Kanjur Marg has now been shifted back to the Aarey area. Remember, the project initially started with land allotment in Aarey area of Mumbai. There were widespread protests opposing this as activists said that it would be an ecological disaster. After this, the Mahavikas Aghadi government came to power and this became the bone of contention between the Mahavikas Aghadi and the Bharatiya Janata Party, with MVA immediately shifting the project to the Kanjur Marg area. Now, a day after Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis government came to power, the decision has been reversed again. So from Aarey to Kanjur Marg, back to Aarey again. Today, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, speaking at the Sena Bhavan while addressing workers, opposed Shinde Sarkar's new decision on Aarey, saying that it would be a disaster for the wildlife and the people of Mumbai if this project is shifted to Aarey. BJP, on the other hand, says that the decision has been taken in the interest of the people. Listen in to the netas.
बाजारात मुंबईवरती काढू नका. आरेचा निर्णय त्यांनी जो बदलला त्याने मला खरंच दुःख झालेलं आहे. हा काही कोणाचा खासगी प्लॉट नाहीये. तिकडे कोणाही बिल्डरला आपण तो आंदण देत नाही आहोत. तिथे जे काही पर्यावरणासाठी आवश्यक असलेले जंगल आणि वनराई होती जी एका रात्रीचं खेळ चालले आता त्यांचं ब्रीदवाक्य आहे. एका रात्रीत झाडांची कत्तल झाली. मी मुख्यमंत्री झाल्यानंतर पहिल्या प्रथम त्या निर्णयाला स्टे दिला होता.
प्रलंबित जो प्रोजेक्ट है, जो प्रकल्प है, जो पिछले कई सालों से उसको आगे ले जाना चाहते हैं हम लोग. जैसे जलयुक्त शिवार हो, कई मेट्रो के काम हो, जल संपदा विभाग के काम हो, जो किसानों के लिए एकदम भारी फायदेमंद हो सकते हैं. बड़े पैमाने पे जमीन इरिगेटेड हो सकती है. ये हमारा ये संकल्प है. इतना ही मैं आज कहूंगा. उपमुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र फडणवीस साहेब आणि मी स्वतः यामध्ये जे जनतेच्या हिताचं आहे, जे प्रकल्प वेळेमध्ये पूर्ण झाले पाहिजे, जनतेच्या पैशाचं गैरवापर होता कामा नये, यासाठी जे शेवटी महाराष्ट्राच्या हिताचा निर्णय आमचं जे युतीचं सरकार आहे ते घेईल.
पिछली सरकार ने जहां कारशेड प्रपोज किया वो जगह अभी भी डिस्प्यूट में है और वो जगह मिलने के बाद भी 4 साल कारशेड नहीं हो सकता. हमारी सरकार के समय आरे में जो जगह सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्लियर की थी उस जगह पर 25% काम हो चुका है और बचा हुआ 75% काम वहां पर तुरंत किया जा सकता है. इसलिए मुंबईकरों के हित में तुरंत अगर मेट्रो शुरू करनी है तो कार शेड वही बनना चाहिए और इसलिए हमारा यही फैसला रहेगा कि कार शेड वही बने. उद्धव जी का पूरा आदर रखते हुए मैं इतना ही कहूँगा कि उनका निर्णय गलत था. ये उनको बार बार मैंने कहा था. मैंने उनको ये विनती भी की थी कि अपना ईगो आप बाजू रखिए और ये कार शेड जो है इसको आरे में होने दीजिए.
Aarey car shed is back in news again, not because it is about to get ready, but because of politics around it. Here's what the people of Mumbai had to say on the politics that we are seeing over the car shed.
आरे में जो बनना चाहिए था नहीं बन रहा है वो बहुत अच्छा है और कांजूर मार्ग में तो पूरा बंजर है, तो उधर अगर हो जाएगा तो बहुत अच्छा है.
एक्चुअली पॉलिटिक्स एक अपनी जगह पे है और इन्वायरमेंट एक अलग अपनी जगह पे है, तो उसमें मिक्स मत करो. एक्चुअली तुम्हारे बीच में जो भी होता अलग बात है, लेकिन जो चीज़ है इन्वायरमेंट है, अगर वो है तो हम हैं.
झाड़ रहेगा तो हम है, वरना मेट्रो का तो कोई रिक्वायरमेंट है नहीं मेरे लिए तो, क्योंकि वहाँ पे तो आरे में तो कोई रिक्वायरमेंट होने वाला नहीं है मेट्रो के लिए, क्योंकि मेट्रो तो वहाँ पे चला के भी कोई मतलब नहीं है. तो वहाँ पे जो आरे में अपना झाड़ है वो सही है.
आरे में जिस तरह की डेवलपमेंट बोल रहे हैं ना गवर्नमेंट कर म्हणजे ते पहले जो रूट है ना वो पायलट करना चाहिए. बाद में ये मेट्रो का वगैरह सब उसके बारे में सोचना चाहिए. एनवायरनमेंट का नुकसान करके उसके कुछ हासिल नहीं होने वाला है.
All said and done, but the issue of Aarey is contentious for sure, and these are the reasons. Aarey colony is spread over 13,000 hectares area, and this is considered as the green lung of Mumbai. Over 2,700 trees will have to be cut for the car shed colony, and this is also home to 27 Adivasi villages and animals as well. Tonight, I want to ask the netas and the experts on the panel, what is more important for the government? For Mr. Shinde, when he was with Mr. Uddhav Thackeray as the Urban Development Minister of Maharashtra under Mahavikas Aghadi government, he agreed to move car shed project to Kanjur Marg. And now, as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, with BJP support, he has brought it back to Aarey. When will this politics really stop around the much-needed car shed? Will it ever be made, or the taxpayers will keep getting Tariq per Tariq? That's our big debate at 8 p.m. on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Viewers, the numbers are going to be flashing at the bottom of your screens. You can call us and share with us your thoughts on this big development today, the first big decision that Eknath Shinde as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra is going to be taking for the people of Mumbai. What is it that you have to say about this is what we also want to hear on the show today. Joining us on Urban Debate is China NC spokesperson of the BJP, SS Sriram, who is a political analyst joining us live. Advocate Dhara Mishra, Leadership Sena, is live with us. Atul Londe Patil, who is spokesperson of the Congress Party, is live with us. Vimlendu Jha, Environmentalist, also on the broadcast. And we have with us Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relation. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Mr. Dilip Cherian, let me begin the discussion with you. You know, it's like musical chairs. There is a car shed, we know, that needs to be made. And with the government, you know, the location is changing. What will you say as somebody who has seen these developments over the past few months and, you know, the way politics is happening around it? What about the people of Mumbai? Of course, development is important, but do you really see that happening here, or just that this is being used to play politics by all political parties in Maharashtra?
You know, it's a clear case of a very vital infrastructure need being turned into a football field. Aarey needs nothing else except protection. Aarey needs nothing else except the attempt to try and keep it as pristine as it possibly can, given the urban sprawl around it. This football field, I call it, I don't even think it's a political football. I think this football field is just an ego battle between the person who's pushing it, which I think is Devendra Fadnavis, and Uddhav Thackeray. There is absolutely no reason why a car shed needs to be at a very specific place. You can easily relocate that without having a huge cost. And I think that even if there is the allegation that the Supreme Court had cleared the location of Aarey for the shed, the fact that other possibilities were identified is good enough reason to stop making this a football field, stop trying to denude the shrinking green cover that Mumbai has. We have to recognize that much higher on the need priority than the rapid building of a metro is the recognition that changes that you make today will affect environment and multiple generations of Mumbaikars if that is lost.
Interesting. Advocate Dhara Mishra, the question is, when will this ego battle really end? Because as Mr. Dilip Cherian correctly mentioned, there is Aarey that needs protection. There is this metro line that people of Mumbai really need. Car shed is needed. Development is needed. But why play politics around it? When will it stop? When will you keep people first?
With what Sir told, but we need to understand what is happening. First of all, as an advocate, I can tell you how the thing is from zero to hero. As in, when Shinde, Eknath Shinde was UD minister, it was his responsibility to take this subject in a logical end, because we all know when this battle took place, when our Aditya Thackeray ji, when he took this initiative to protect entire Aarey as under a reserve forest. It was proposed for making a reserve forest. Afterward, when the government started taking its own course, when UD minister that time, Eknath Shinde, he's supposed to take this initiative in a proper way. The follow-up was lacking from his end, his legal department, because that time you will come to know now by this act, by that after taking the oath, they taking the initiative of telling that everybody that we are putting this car shed in the Aarey place, Aarey area. I mean, this shows that this the entire the egoistic the thing was took place from that time when our Aditya Thackeray ji took this initiative to reserve under project, and that time Devendra Fadnavis, he wanted that Aarey should shift to Kanjur Marg, and Kanjur Marg is where central government took.
That's the question I'm asking. That's exactly the question I'm asking, that when will this ego battle really end? When will this politics really end, Mr. Patil? The question is that, you know, politics continues to happen over this particular issue, and the people of Mumbai keep on getting तारीख पे तारीख. कुछ पता नहीं है ये project कब होने वाला है complete. Nobody knows. Why? Why should people suffer? Why should the taxpayers suffer? Because of the politics that's happening, because of this greed for power, Mr. Patil.
Hello,
Mr. Patil, can you hear me?
Yes,
go ahead.
See, the issues of environment can never and cannot become an issue of egos. When Mahavikas Aghadi came back to power, it took into the consideration the interest of the people of the Bombay. It's you very aptly said in your introductory remark that it is a green lungs of the Mumbai. How can you remove the lungs? Can you survive by removing the lungs? The basic issue is, if Kanjur Marg land is in a dispute, some private party is claiming that, and that too issue is 130 years ago. So if shifting car shed to Kanjur Marg can solve the problem, environmental problem, and it can balance the developmental issue also, what is there to make it ego? क्या ego क्यों बनाने उस चीज को? क्या problem क्या है? You started your government by taking negative decisions. What you did, you cancelled, you took the Aarey car shed decision, and second is you cancelled the road which is connecting Jalna and Nanded to Samruddhi. What is the point in that? Who is showing ego? It is Bhajapa government led by Eknath Shinde. They are showing ego. We have nothing to do with the ego. In fact, we request them. Humbly, we are requesting them, don't harm the environment of Mumbai, because Mumbai is already overcrowded. Mumbai is overcrowded, what it should be overcrowded by more than 100%. Mumbai's population should have been around 40 lakh, 35 lakh, 45 lakh. It has crossed to 2 crores already. What is there to harm the interests of the Mumbai's environment? This is our question.
Let's get BJP to respond to what you have said. We have Asif Bamla, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast as well this evening. Asif Bamla, good evening. Thank you for joining us on Urban Debate. And what is happening? The first big decision that Mr. Eknath Shinde led government in Maharashtra takes is to shift this car shed project back to Aarey, which was in any case a big contentious issue. Is it revenge politics? Is it only to reverse the decision that Mr. Uddhav Thackeray-led Mahavikas Aghadi government had taken in 2019, or do you really care for the people of Mumbai?
You see, let me tell you that though I am, of course, the spokesperson for the BJP, I've been involved with the environmental endeavors because I work very closely in the field of environment with the United Nations Environment Program, with the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. But having said that, just let me make my thing in order here. Having said that, it is we had initially supported this idea of an Aarey. You see, if you're aware, when the Sena and BJP government came to power, this was a unanimous decision that it should be utilized at Aarey. We are seeing now it's more than 2.5 years. I mean, we understand that destruction of the ecosystem is certainly not required. But if you know, and for your kind information, 80% of the work in terms of curating a car shed was already done, as far as Aarey is concerned, even in the earlier Sena BJP government. Of course, it was just a fight of egos, like you yourself mentioned. It's just to put your point right, that okay, no, whatever, to undo what has already been done by the previous government and to butter their ego and images, they took a stand. And of course, initial stages we thought if Kanjurmarg is possible, we would support that because it's fine. Now that is in dispute. Your Aarey's work was
but
already
there is a legal tussle that's happening between Maharashtra government and centre over Kanjurmarg area also. You did not allow that to happen too.
Well,
so what should really be done? Where should the people of Mumbai really go?
Listen to me. Let me submit, because anyways I'm come late for I'm called late for the debate. So let me put my party's stand first. So initially, during the government, when the BJP Sena was there, this was approved. Now you got 2.5 years. Are you aware about the situation? See, we propose to be. I'm sure you know we have the most environment conscious Prime Minister who, from the Red Fort, speaks on environment and sustainability not only in India and globally. So talking about destruction as far as Aarey or trees, etc., is not even to be considered, because globally he's considered an icon as far as
Asif, can you remember? Can I remember you one thing about the India's stand? About the India's position as far as the protection of environment is concerned? We stood 180th. We stood 180th amongst 180 countries as far as the protection of environment is concerned. We have completely destroyed environment of India. We are
No. Let me tell you.
Please don't interject. Gentlemen, both of you please calm down. We have one second, gentlemen, both of you calm down. Both of you calm down. Mr. Asif Bhamla, okay. Finish your point, because we have an environmentalist also on the panel. So I will like Mr. Vimlendu Jha to respond to what you have said.
But I have not even submitted.
Complete your point, Mr. Asif Bhamla, quickly. Yes.
I think there should be some decency in terms of when you're debating. You please request my friend from the Congress to wait for his turn. So my contention here is that the BJP, and as far as the environment aspect for it is concerned, that was earlier thought of, but it gave you 2.5 years. Are you aware about that? Kanjurmarg is not something that's going to be cleared soon. Aarey was cleared, done, and dealt with. So you to as I said earlier, I don't want to repeat this because of lack of timing. To butter your ego, did a reversal on that, and now if you see the entire project is on hold. I am saying we talk about development, about the progress, about the infrastructure of the city. Of course, at the same time, the ecological balance has to be maintained, and we have to ensure that environmentally conscious, because sustainability is there in all aspects, whether it comes to development, whether it comes to to the progress of anything. But here, if you tell me now there are monsoons approaching and your roads of the entire Mumbai city have been in such a bad shape, so we need to get that in order. We need the metro.
I think you've made your point.
Sanction, and we need to.
Yes, metro is needed, definitely. We know metro is needed. People of Mumbai have been waiting for quite some time. Let Mr. Vimlendu Jha now respond to what you have said. You think that this is not going to disturb the environment at all? Mr. Asif Bhamla, I gave you ample time to make your point.
What is to be done?
Let Mr. Vimlendu Jha now respond to you. Yes.
I think, we need to understand that, do we need forests in our urban spaces? Yes, we do. Can trees that the government keeps saying that, we will actually, instead of when we cut 2,000 or 2,500 trees, we'll actually replace them by planting 27,000 or more trees. Do you think forests could be replaced by trees? Not at all. Is Mumbai ecologically vulnerable? Is Mumbai's air in a bad shape? Yes, to all of that. And that's where the problem is. As nobody, Mr. Mamla, as you claim to be working on environment, and you said you read your biodata here, and you work for UN Environment and otherwise, the basic understanding of environment is that ecology needs to be protected, public health needs to be a priority. Nobody is against development. Nobody is saying that metro is not needed, but metro doesn't need to be in an ecosystem that spreads around almost 1,000 hectares and more in the heart of Mumbai. Do you think people need more air or better mobility? Perhaps better mobility, but not at the cost of clean air. And that is extremely important. Right now, what is the conversation that we all are having? That metro needs to not be in Aarey. We don't need to chop the forests of Mumbai to really build a world-class metro. You can actually do it in some other area. Do we have a problem with vis-a-vis land? Of course, the project.
So you identify that. It's 2.5 years that the government was in power. Why did they come out with the solution?
Okay, Mr. Bhamla, let Mr. Vimlendu Jha complete his point.
भामला जी, वो आप एकनाथ शिंदे जी से पूछिए ना.
One second.
Yeah. So, the thing is that, it's
let Mr. Vimlendu Jha complete his point, gentlemen, please.
It's very unfortunate that the first decision that this new government has taken within 24 hours, one of the foremost decisions that it has taken is against the health of every child in Mumbai. And imagine, right now, these are the people who are supposed to be the custodians of our health, custodians of our environment, and they don't have any understanding of relationship between development and ecology. Development and ecology needs to go together, but not when development bulldozes our ecology.
Yes.
And in this particular case, we have actually seen, in the case of Aarey Forest, when our caretakers, our custodians, our policymakers have zilch understanding of ecology and air. Is Mumbai polluted today, Mr. Mamla? Yes, it is. And therefore, you need to do something about it. You don't take the only lung. You haven't done anything about the pollution of Mumbai. And anything
Mumbai, by the way, is controlled by the Shiv Sena from the past 25 years. Let me tell you this, in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the arrangement there, what is the progress that they have
24
done?
hours ago, Mr. Asif Bhamla, with your support,
we don't want to push that.
with your support, Maharashtra is going to be controlled by Shiv Sena and the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is the first decision that you've taken. The point is, one second, gentlemen, the question. One second. Let me first, gentlemen. Let me now go across to Mr. SS Sriram. Gentlemen, let's have a civil debate, please. Gentlemen. If you will speak over each other, we will not be able to have a debate. Advocate Dhara Mishra, 1 second. I will come to you. Advocate Dhara Mishra, I will come to you. 1 second, please. SS Sriram. He's been waiting patiently for quite some time. SS Sriram, the question is that how can a project be touted as must-have by one government and not for other? I mean, for people, what is important? For the people of Mumbai, for taxpayers in Mumbai, what is important? They want the car shed? Yes, they want the car shed. They've been waiting for it for quite some time. They were promised this car shed long back, but it's politics that's, delaying it. Second, they also want the green lungs. They want the environment to be protected. I mean, they don't really care about the political party here. They want the work to be done. And what we are seeing is only politics.
With due respect to you, I mean, I'm sure the experts who are designing this metro rail would have had some thought behind in choosing a space like Aarey. And it is not that they are going to take the entire Aarey green covered for the sake of development. They're hardly taking about 5% of less than 5% of the entire place. And more importantly, after
with due respect, Mr. SS Sriram, let me just intervene. 1 second. Let me just intervene with due respect. Why is it that Mr. Eknath Shinde, as the Urban Development Minister under Mahavikas Aghadi government, was okay with shifting this car shed project to another location, but now as the Chief Minister, with the support of the BJP, he's okay with bringing it back to Aarey? Is it some joke?
These are the part of suffocation that he was probably going through being along with Shinde. Now he has the free mind to decide what he wants to do. But let us also not forget, 80% of the work has been done already, and we have spent the public money to get it done. And it's for a sheer ego that you tend to put this elsewhere, which according to the experts say this will be delayed by another 3 years with an extra cost of 2,000 crore of rupees. I mean, this is revenge and this is a silly politics. Let's make it very clear. 80% of a work is done somewhere and you give some lame excuse and try to shelve this project and didn't do anything for the next 2.5 years with an alternate solution. And you want the people of Mumbai to suffer because of your own decisions or the Maha Vikas Aghadi's decisions. Let us move with it. Work is done, and 80% of the work is done. It's in the interest of the people. It is not that the entire green cover is taken. It's hardly some part of it, and I'm sure the authorities as well as the government will amply compensate by probably putting up about 10,000 trees. I mean, for us, everyone can put a tree. They don't have to depend on the Aarey greenery alone as though.
So if 2,700 trees are going to be cut, you're saying the government will compensate by putting 10,000 trees. Definitely, it's going to take a lot of time for those to grow and become what the area has right now. Why it is called as Mumbai's lung, that's for a specific reason. One second, SS Sriram, you've made an important point and I'll go across to my other guests as well to respond to that. But before that, let's also listen into what the people of Maharashtra have to say about what is happening regarding this car shed. We have a viewer joining us on the broadcast this evening. Mr. Iyer is joining us from Mumbai. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. What is it that you will like to say? Could you put your television on mute, please?
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Mr. Iyer, can you hear me? Hi.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
I can hear you. Hi, everybody. Good evening. See, now if you go to see, the damage is already done. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me? This is Mr. Iyer.
Yes.
The gentleman there told, just now spoke that 80 to 85% of the work is already in progress. Now, since the damage is done, let us go through it. Let us give importance to the development so that let us have a win-win situation, not go through it all over again. I have a strong feeling there is some vested interest in this particular thing, as far as the Aarey environment is concerned. Some sort of a land is being chewed away by some arterial people. There is some. That's all I want to say.
All right, Mr. Iyer, appreciate you joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective on this particular issue. We have Ramamurthy joining us from Pune as well this evening. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate. What is it that you would like to say?
Yeah, good evening to you. Ma'am, whether it is right or wrong, the public only has only limited options. It is nothing but the egoism of the politicians, and public pay heavily for their egoism and through way of taxes. So this is ridiculous, totally ridiculous. What about the movie, maybe? Please.
All right, Mr. Ramamurthy, appreciate you joining us here on Urban Debate and sharing with us your perspective. Yes, Advocate Dhara Mishra, then Mr. Atul Patil. Go ahead. Tell us what is it that you wanted to say. Advocate Dhara Mishra first.
Heena ji, I want to add some points where I think BJP spokesperson, he told us he is associated with a lot of environment activities. Okay. Even we know he used to come to Aditya ji in many environment activities where he's saying 2.5 साल से कोई काम नहीं हुआ. I want to add one more thing. When the work was initiated by the government, Maha Vikas Aghadi, when Aditya ji took the charge of environment minister, when immediately central government started creating hurdles by saying this Kanjur Marg land belongs to central government and we cannot take any development activities. Therefore, we have to approach to court. So I want to tell, then that time the UD minister was Eknath Shinde, and his legal department supposed to take the charge, and he take the logical end by taking the follow-up. And that time the AG, the Kumbhakoni sir, he was the same AG earlier government, and also in Mahavikas Aghadi he was the same person. So he knows everything legal battle in High Court or in Supreme Court, in central state government was the legal hurdles. He knows everything. Common man doesn't know na कि what is happening. सबको तो यही लग रहा है कि भाई ये 2.5 साल से काम नहीं हो रहा है. तो who is creating the hurdles? The central government is creating the hurdles. BJP wanted BJP people, and Devendra Fadnavis ji wanted to satisfy his ego. Therefore, he started creating a good friendship with Eknath Shinde ji. Therefore, it is a big gift to Eknath Shinde ji that you have satisfied my ego, so you take this CM position.
Okay, Asif Bamla wants to respond. Go ahead. Then Mr. SS Sriram.
I am amazed. I'm amazed at what. No, let me rebut. That questions come to me, na. So I am amazed at the mindset, of my
Mr.
friend.
Patil,
but what I'm trying to
let
say,
him respond quickly, then I'll come to you. Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that it is fine. You were in power, and now that the BJP is in the ruling here, had it been possible, was an iota of a possibility, because the central government and the state government is the same, we would have certainly walked the talk. But as the earlier spokesperson said that there is just 5%, and now we have urban forests of whatever destruction that has been done in terms of tree plantation. They can always be compensated many-fold times. And you see the policy paralysis in terms of development for the city is very, very important. It's very important. The policy, देखिए हमने क्या कितना पर्यावरण के लिए क्या, आप जाइए Google पर और देखिए.
Okay, Mr. Patil wants to come in, then Vimlendu Jha. Mr. Patil wants to come in, then Vimlendu Jha.
I am not here to convince you or to satisfy you. I am here to.
One second, Advocate Dhara Mishra, I gave you time to respond. You've made your point. Let others also speak now. Advocate Dhara Mishra, 1 second. You have made your point, sir. You have made your point. 1 second. Let others also speak. I will come back to you. Mr. Atul Patil has been waiting for quite some time. Mr. Atul Patil, go ahead.
See, as far as Congress stand is concerned, we don't want to go into whether there was the government of BJP and Shiv Sena coalition for 25 years, what they have done.
But isn't it hypocrisy?
During the 2014?
Isn't it hypocrisy? Isn't it revenge politics that we are seeing?
But it is, after all, it is hurting the health of the people of the Mumbai. See, we have done away with the mangroves on almost all the sea coast, which is an important ecosystem. We have already done away with it. Now, if you are compensating for the development like ecosystem like Aarey, then it is going to hurt not only people but also the environment of the Mumbai. Let me make it very clear. Development for whom? Development for people now. If that development is going to hurt the health of the people, what is the use of having that kind of a development? If it can be shifted to Kanjur Marg, which is a salt pan land, there's a confusion whether it is a salt pan land or it is given on a lease to some private person. People are also talking about some vested interest who is gonna get near about 7,000 crores rupees and all that. I don't want to go into that. I just want to say that development can stop, destruction of environment can't. So we have to create a balance between the development and the ecosystem and the environment, which is far more important than anything else. I rest my.
Absolutely. Development and destruction. Both these points are very, very important, and there needs to be some sort of a balance. I have a question for Vimlendu Jha and Mr. Dilip Cherian as well. But before that, we have two more viewers joining us on the broadcast this evening. Gary is joining us from Mumbai. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate. What is it that you would like to say? Gary, can you hear me? Gary, am I audible to you? Okay, we have another viewer with us on the broadcast. Srinivasan is joining us from... Okay,
Hope I'm
Gary is
audible
back
now.
with us. Yes, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thanks
Yes.
for taking this very important issue. So I just want to ask, right, this is the only green belt left in the city, and Mumbai is contributing so much to the economy of the country, and we also talk about the climate change in the global forum. So I don't know, we just need to protect the only green belt left in the city, and we cannot just giving this constant shifting from, of this shed from Aarey to consumer to back to Aarey. It's, a lot of money has been, taxpayers' money is wasted in that. So maybe the government will have a relook at it. Thank you.
All right, Gary, appreciate you calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. We have another viewer joining us on the broadcast right now, Srinivasan from Bengaluru. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate. What is it that you would like to say?
Good evening. See, I would like to raise a very important point. Can you hear me? I would like to raise a very important point. Last 2 years during the pandemic, the whole world was crying for oxygen. And these trees, over thousands of years when they are growing, they are a very important source of oxygen. And to cut it, it takes a few minutes. And they say, across the political lines, they say we are going to plant trees. It takes hundreds of years for that plant to grow into a tree. And the classic example for how climate changes is Bangalore. As per a study of Indian Institute of Science, 98% of greenery in Bangalore is gone. It is only there in the cantonment areas now. And the average temperature has gone up to 42 degrees in Bangalore, where these people should understand that, the human lives are at stake. So they should take that into consideration and then plan properly, and trees can be there. They are our lifeline. If trees are not there, then where are humans? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very, very important point you have raised, Mr. Srinivasan. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. We have Babu Rao also joining us from Bengaluru this evening. Good evening. Thank you for calling us. What is it that you would like to say?
First of all, I want to thank, because this was my once very favorite program of calling in and taking the US. I really, really appreciate that. First is that. Second is, I've been head of a multinational company. In any discussion, we want it to be fact-based. Now, just now I heard one of my colleagues from Bangalore saying that Bangalore is completely destroyed. It is not like everybody is dying. And no tree grows for 1,000 years. But for whatever reason, there's one area. What is the total acre? What is that we are losing? Because ultimately, a development comes at the cost of something. Something gains, something comes. So what is the percentage we are talking about? If there are 62,000 acres or whatever, I don't know, why is that a big issue if you are talking about 0.1%? That is first question. And second thing is, I want all these people, Atul or anybody, not to politicize any issue. If they come with facts and they have the decency to discuss and not talk over each other, at least they will be showing some respect to mirror. Because it's the only channel where people don't talk over. And people like Atul, why do they want to politicize this? Is he having a fact? Does he have a fact like how many acres of forest was there? How much is the shed area? What is the cost benefit if we do it here versus the new area? If you some Congress,
I think you've made some very important point. Yes. And Mr. Babu Rao, thank you very much for watching Mirror Now regularly. The kind words that you've said for the channel, they really encourage us to pick up more such issues. And thank you very much for calling us on Urban Debate tonight. So you heard, gentlemen, what the people have to say. Mr. SS Sriram, definitely questions are being raised today, and many people want to know, they want to know the truth, the reality. What is going to be the exact impact on environment? And as being claimed by the BJP that 80% of the work has already been done. So how, what should be the right approach in a situation like this, instead of playing politics?
Let me interfere for 5 seconds. Uddhav, Devendra Fadnavis ji is claiming that 25% work has been done. These people are claiming that the 80% work has been done. Mr. Babu Rao, I know what is the there are 13,000 hectares forest is there, and government Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra today, Devendra Fadnavis, is claiming that only 25% work has been done. So it is not a matter of ego for Congress. I have not taken any political stand. Rather, I said that development should accompany the health of the people also. Ultimately, development for whom? Development for people, and if it is for the people, then we should also take care of the health of the people also. So my stand is.
That is why I said, we need transparency here. We do not need politics on this particular issue. The people of Mumbai want to know what is the real situation. So do not just blame the other political party. Because you want to take revenge. Mr. SS Sriram, Advocate Dharam Mishra, I will come to you. I promise I will come to you. SS Sriram first, one second, one at a time. Advocate Dharam Mishra, I do not allow this on urban debate. I'm sorry. We can't have people speaking over each other. Let everybody speak. I will come back to you. SS Sriram first, then others, and then I'll come to you, Advocate Dharam.
As much as environment is important, so are the lives of people of Mumbai. Every year during monsoon, I see Mumbai sinking every year. Lives are lost. So many wells are lost, especially the poor. What does the BMC, which has been ruled by Shiv Sena, have they done for the people of Maharashtra? This is absolute bakwas. So let us not keep harping with this. Aarey Milk Colony, green cover is the need, no doubts about it. But what is the extent that we are being loosed, and what sort of a benefit that it gives to the people of Maharashtra? We have seen them do nothing with as far as the BMC is concerned. Now, what are they talking about lives? I mean, if they have so much concern for the environment, let them also have the concern for the same poor people, and let them not suffer during monsoon year after year after year. So, I mean, it's like
sewage condition. See the drainage condition.
Don't play politics here. Please kindly look at development will always be at the cost of something. And as far as that something is not beyond.
Let me now go across to Mr. Vimlendu Jha, then Mr. Dilip Cherian. One second. Mr. Vimlendu Jha, now you heard what the people of Mumbai had to say, what the people of Bengaluru are saying about what's happening. Is there a study that tells us that if indeed this car shed is made in Aarey, this is going to be the impact on environment, on this green lung of Mumbai? Or do you think, as BJP is claiming, that a lot of work has already been done, so it will be prudent to continue with the project in Aarey only? How will you like to respond?
There's no study with respect.
Okay, I think there is some problem with the connection out there. We'll try and reconnect with Mr. Vimlendu Jha in just a bit. But if I could go across to Mr. Asif Bamla with the same question. Mr. Asif Bamla.
You see, I want to just sum up in one small thing. As one of the guests also said, that let's not get into politics and bring politics. We are for Aarey. We are for the climate change mitigation.
True.
We support.
Yes.
Please, I don't like this intervention, okay? Speak when your turn comes. And we certainly support that. But we have waited a good long of 2.5 years. And 2.5 years, if Kanjurmarg, now the state and central government is the same, but there is a policy paralysis. If it cannot happen, it cannot really happen if it doesn't happen in this government. So now we got to move further, because we are aware that the infrastructure set up and the arrangement of the entire city of Mumbai, and there are so many other things which are connected with the development of the metro railways, and we need to give it a solution. So the only way forward is have a compensational arrangement where we, for all, you see that the trees that had to go are already gone. The sizable amount of environmentalists have opposed that then. But that car shed arrangement is there. We are losing more than 80,000 crores on that, and that's a very big sum. Mumbai Mahanagar Palika We are aware that monsoons are here.
Vimlendu Jha is back with us on the debate. Vimlendu was trying to explain to us what the reality is.
I want to add one
Vimlendu
point.
Jha, please.
Let us fix and get Mumbai back on track.
Heena ji,
Asif Bhavla, I've heard you. I've heard you.
Inka point hai, I
Vimlendu Jha,
just want
one second, sir. Vimlendu Jha first. Sir, 1 second. I have promised you I will come to you. Please. Vimlendu Jha, yes.
So, with respect to a study specifically on Aarey, we don't have a study as yet in terms of how many people would die or what would be the health impact or ecological impact because of loss of Aarey forest. But there are enough studies locally, globally, to know that given the kind of urbanization that we're living in, the kind of role that forests actually play, we need to also understand, I think, it's so unfortunate that we're actually debating this right now in terms of there are people taking side in terms of dismissing forests. Forests are very, very different. You cannot replace forests by putting 10,000 or 20,000 or 1 lakh saplings. The importance of Aarey forests is much beyond, monoculture of saplings and things. And the other point is that maybe perhaps 20% or 25% of work has been done. We don't know, as in one expert right now said 80%, but whatever 25%. Imagine if your lung is only functioning 25%, is damaged 25%. Do you work towards reviving it or you get rid of the entire thing? Similarly, right now, if you look at the kind of work that is actually happening, it is not just about Aarey forest. Once you open up a protected area for development activities, you are actually talking about many other things. Perhaps there'll be an Aarey metro station, perhaps there'll be a race course. We don't know what all needs to be built. One needs to understand the value of a forest, the value of ecology in this modern context. And imagine today's the day when the Prime Minister actually announced ban on single-use plastic. Prime Minister has been talking about environment, ecology, net zero, everything. And this morning we woke up to this news that as we're getting rid of the only lung that Mumbai has. So development is important, but at the same time, clean air. If Lancet report, by the way, clearly says that 1.5 million people die each year because of air pollution, and Mumbai is also in that list of one of the most polluted cities of the world. So if Mumbai is polluted, if there are children dying, then what's your priority? That faster mobility or perhaps cleaner air? Yes, faster mobility is good for urban development, but that can wait. Clean air cannot. Imagine if every household has a case of asthma. These certain panelists here are saying that it's okay, cut down a tree, plant a few saplings. No. Compensatory afforestation is a huge sham in our country, and we all know that. You promise to plant a tree and you don't really do it. And when you actually plant a tree, you don't plant a forest. And by the way, we haven't spoken about more than 27 tribal communities or tribal hamlets that actually live there, and hundreds of species of wild animals that also survive. Perhaps our speakers
and the wildlife,
would understand the value or the understanding of in food chain and ecology of what does a bee do or a tiger do. So you might think that a concrete structure, a car,
it's not just about the trees there, it's about the families who live there, it's about the wildlife that also exists in that reserve area. Very important point you've raised. Let me also hear what the viewers are saying. We have 3 more callers joining us on the broadcast. Devan is with us from Mumbai this evening. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate. What is it that you will like to say?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. See, Aarey Mill Colony is the pride of every Mumbai, anyone who lives in Mumbai, okay? And there's no compromise on that. And my view is that there was a difference of opinion between the center and the state as far as Kanjurmarg is concerned. Now that the center has the government it wants in the state, why don't they get together and, allow Kanjurmarg to be developed as a metro shed and leave Aarey Mill Colony as it is? We cannot be compromising on the lungs of the city, which is the pride of not only Mumbai, but probably India. The people who come into Mumbai and see a forest within the city is absolutely proud and thrilled to see it. We do not want that to be lost.
All right.
For our generation and for the future generation. This is my view. Thank you very much.
Very well said, Mr. Devan. Appreciate you calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. We have Mohan Pillai joining us from Thrissur as well. Good evening. Thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate. What is it that you would like to say?
I am Mohan Pillai from Thrissur. I was in Mumbai, stayed there for 45 years. Now the point is that, see, already it is being said that 80% of the work is done. See, by 80% of the work is done, by shifting it back to Aarey, what is the benefit you are going to gain? Is it reducing the cost by shifting it to Aarey? So at the same time, you are damaging the technology.
No, they are saying in Aarey 80% of the work is done.
Where 80% of the work is done?
Who is saying?
This
is what BJP is claiming.
BJP will say 100% work is done.
Aarey.
Aarey, how much is the work done in Kanjurmarg? How much is the work done in Aarey? Is it 80% in Aarey or 80%?
There's no work done in Kanjurmarg. It's yet in dispute
Mr.
from
Mohan
past
Pillai.
2.5 years, and we have not been able to come out with
Mr. Bamla, one second. Let him complete his point. Let him complete his point.
आप कृपा करके पार्टी की बात ना
धर्म मिश्रा जी एक मिनट धर्म मिश्रा जी एक मिनट आप लोगों की बात तो सुन लीजिए मोहन पिल्लाई जी is saying something.
Wherever 80% of the work is done,
Mr. Dharam, yes.
Shifting it to the other location, what is the benefit? First of all, is it giving any financial benefit?
No, actually, sir, they have shifted it to the same location. They have shifted it to the same location. Thank you, Mr. Pillai, for calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Okay, we have another viewer joining us on the broadcast this evening, Vinay from Noida. Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Good evening. You see, I am a veteran from the army and served for about 33, 34 years. And I know what is the importance of greenery in our country. Because every cantonment, when we move in the new unit there, we are supposed to take over all the trees, the unit, and plant another 15% more. And after my retirement in Noida, both of us, me and my wife, started having the problem of asthma. And that is the reason of cutting off trees. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vinay. Appreciate you joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Mr. Dilip Cherian, you heard what the people have to say. People understand the importance of the green cover, but here we are seeing claims coming from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Do you think people deserve some sort of transparency? Some sort of a study is needed to tell us what is right and what is wrong, whether this car shed should be built in Aarey or we again need to go back to Kanjurmarg. As one of the viewers said that now it is BJP with Shiv Sena in Maharashtra and the dispute should be over. That was there earlier in Kanjurmarg. Mr.
Heena, it's very clear to me, Heena, that irrespective of whether 80% of the work is done at Aarey Colony, the fact is that saplings cannot replace forests, irrespective of how many saplings are put. If you have much faster transport and metro, will you be carrying sick bodies? That is the question that Mumbaikars need to understand and ask. Sure, there will be an extra cost of putting it at Kanjurmarg. Do it quickly, spend the money, get it going, and replant what is lost in the forest. A forest can regrow, but saplings cannot a forest make. That is the difference which everybody wants to forget in the politics of this. The real thing ought to be that preserve the forest because that is all you have. Metros can be built anywhere.
Absolutely.
Advocate Dhara Mishra,
yes.
Go ahead now. Tell us what is it that you wanted to say.
Yes, I want to say, because everybody have told their part, as environment, Jhaji have told his part, and Sir told, right now Sir told about the sapling part, okay? I want to tell about why this development didn't took place in Kanjurmarg. Because when the forest was proposed, the certain area is proposed as a forest, that file goes to central department because the legality is done by the central government. whether that area is belong to forest or not. When the state government have told that this area is forest, then this file goes to up central government. The central government don't want it to be they wanted that that car shed should be built in Aarey, not in Kanjurmarg. And in similar way, in similar time, they have done that that the soil pen that belong to central government. So hurdles is created by the central department. And the same time, the UD minister was Eknath Shinde. Try to understand the legality. People are not understanding the legality part. Because यहाँ पे हम बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जब एक कोर्ट कचेरी में मैटर जाता है ना, तो वहाँ पे सब डिपार्टमेंट के एनओसीज, वहाँ के फाइल्स, फॉलो अप सब लगते हैं. लोगों को ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि हम बता रहे हैं ना, मामला जी बता रहे हैं भाई, हम आपको बता रहे हैं, मैं खुद वकील हूँ, मैं बता रहा हूँ. नहीं, आप लोग जो बता रहे हो ना,
थे, तभी तो 2.5 साल के लिए आपने कुछ कर नहीं पाया उस पर बैठे रहे. आप 2.5 साल से न कंजूरमार्ग का निवारण कर पाए आपने, न आप आने को न्याय दे पाए. और आज आप सिर्फ
Asif Bhamla, 1 second. Asif Bhamla, let him complete his point, please. Asif Bhamla, let him complete his point. I'll come to you for the last comment. Advocate Dharam Mishra, quickly finish your point.
It's 2.5 years they have spent, they have not worked anything, there no development is done. So try to understand why the development didn't took place. When this the last part I want to mention here, when lastly the land was supposed to be declared as a forest, the file is pending in central government, and they don't want to.
So you're saying the center did not allow this project to be completed. This is what you had said earlier also. Now you're repeating yourself. Okay. I want to give, I have very little time left on the broadcast. 1 second, gentlemen. I want to give 10 seconds to each one of the other guests who are still waiting for their closing comments. SS Sriram first.
See, as far as this project is concerned, it is definitely a politics or ego between Mahavikas Aghadi and the erstwhile Shiv Sena, which was part of BJP. Let's not forget 2019 when this project was halfway through. That is when they went to elections, and people of Maharashtra gave the mandate back to BJP, which means that they were happy with the project that was announced by them. And then to get out of it and then to stall it is definitely a revenge politics. And at the same time, Exchequer's money is important. Let us not keep wasting that money and that time to get this done. Already having started this, a small portion is what is going to go for. We must continue with this and ensure this is done. That is my final closing point.
Mr. Asif Bhamla, can the politicians keep politics aside and put people first?
The city of Mumbai has seen the vision of the current establishment, the Sena, and we are all aware. The sewerage, the drainage, as it is there, 25 years is a very big time, okay? And now, as I'm saying, that development needs to be done. 2.5 years was given. I am a staunch environmentalist. I have worked across party lines in terms of consistency, climate change mitigation, and as one of the panelists said today, the Honorable Prime Minister has launched a campaign against the plastic pollution in Delhi. So we have a Prime Minister who has a vision in terms of environment, and we will certainly, we are working on that. But as we said, that there is just 5% of land.
Last 10 seconds,
that's
Mr.
also very important, but it will certainly ensure that there is reduction in pollution because of this development.
Mr. Bhamla, you made your point. Now you're repeating yourself. You've already said what you're saying now. Mr. Patil, last 10 seconds, please. I have no time left.
My stand is as it is. As far as the balance between development and environment is concerned, we should always give priority to the environment, because ultimately it is going to hurt the health of the people. Development for home development, if development is for the people, then we should take care of their health as well as the health of the environment also. Now people are talking about 80% work have already been done, 25% work have already been done. Can you compensate the money with health? Can you compensate the health of the city with money?
Yes,
do you know
Vimlendu Jha, 10
that
seconds,
the
closing comments.
City of Cape Town have been vacated by the people only because there is no water? Can you want to see?
Sir,
women
I'm
like
completely
women?
out of
My
time and I want to be
closing
fair
line
to all
is-
my guests.
my
Vimlendu
closing
Jha,
line
10
is-
seconds only. Closing comments, please.
Absolutely. If Mr. Bhamla can live without air and oxygen and can live on his arrogance and skewed understanding of environment that he has, good luck to you, sir. I don't think we want more asthmatic children and the army veteran that came on our call right now. Trees is what we need, not concrete and cement, Mr. Bhamla. I thought you were an environmentalist. You should be ashamed of yourself today.
You don't have to give me your comments. I'm aware and
Mr.
I'm
Dilip
seeing what all has
Cherin,
been
you know,
done in the
it's
field of
definitely
environment.
a fight between development and environment. Both are important. As citizens, do you not think we need clarity? We need transparency. 10 seconds.
I think we need to ensure that egos don't battle, and most importantly, long term versus short term. Worrying about the shed is short term thinking. Think long term. That's all I would suggest.
Absolutely.
All right. And with this, it's a wrap. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Heading into a very, very short break, Griha joins you next with all the top stories